Hey guys, what's going on? What's popping? Quick fit check of the day. So I got these like athletic pants on. Got this like Las Vegas shirt my parents got for me when they went to Las Vegas. Cardigan, Goodwill. I think I got these from Amazon, to be honest. I don't know. Leopard hat, TikTok shop. My friend has been saying I look like a 90s rapper because I wear a lot of these athletic pants, baggy pants, and I like to cuff them up. I like to roll my athletic pants up and cuff them up like that, you feel me? Sip of the Red Bull, you dig? So, anyways, let me roll the intro. Assalamu alaikum. May the Most High God Allah bestow many peace, blessings, abundance, prosperity, health, wealth, focus, balance, all that near, all that light upon you and your loved one's path. So I'm really appreciative of the people that have been supporting me on my grind, supporting me on my journey. I met some amazing people, mashallah. I met some amazing, beautiful souls. I did not know how many Muslim occultists, mystics, whatever you want to say, are actually in this community. So I'm really appreciative of you all. I'm glad that people like my content and all that. So I really appreciate you guys, mashallah, for this community. So in this video, I want to talk about where I fit in as a witch, being a Muslim. Yes, you heard that right. Where I fit in being a witch as a Muslim. It's a little bit about my journey. I'll just sum it up because I've already talked about it on here, but I grew up Christian. Went through like a lot of like abuse in the church, and that kind of shied me away, but also it didn't make sense to me. It really didn't make sense to me. Like, I went to a Church of Christ and then a mega church, and those are two totally different things. Like, Church of Christ, like, so much fear mongering. Like, I remember I was like 9 in Sunday school, and I'm sure some Orthodox Muslims are like this, like, no community, no religion, everybody has, like, I'm not saying Islam isn't perfect, Islam is perfect, but some of the people might put dog water on it. I don't know how to explain it, but I remember in Sunday school, like, people would tell me, oh, you need to get baptized. And I was like 9. They're like, if you don't get baptized, you're gonna go to hell. And one of my Sunday school teachers said, people in hell are so thirsty they'll drink gasoline to cool off. And you know, I was 9 years old. I think I was even younger, maybe 8 or 7. And I felt like my autism, you know, I felt spiritually gifted as a kid. Like, I'd have like reoccurring dreams of like supernatural things like teleportation and poltergeists. I don't know. It was interesting. So I knew I was like gifted to some extent. Like, and another thing too is like, besides being autistic and have that extra sensory, I also didn't have glasses until I was like 2, and I have like chronic tinnitus, and I don't know for sure, but I kind of feel like I was relying on my like hearing a lot as a small jit to get around, because I didn't have glasses, you know. I'm legally blind. Like, I cannot drive. I could not see fingers. Like, as you can see, my prescriptions are thicker than a Snicker. So, anyways, like, Church of Christ was different. And then we went to a mega church where people would fly private jets over people getting baptized. I was like, this is pathetic, man. Like, this is just I don't even know what Christianity is. It's like one extreme or another. And so I left, and because I felt supernaturally gifted, like, I tried to tap into something. I started like learning about black magic, some other things. I dabbled with the Goetia, and I started to realize, if there's a dark side, there must be a light side, especially with what's going on today with all this elitist Moloch worship. It's pathetic. So when I start, like, that just confirms even more that, even atheists are saying this is evil, this is of the devil. So it's like, if there is a devil, if you believe in a devil, wouldn't you believe in God, And so I started realizing if there's a light side, if there's a dark side, there has to be a light side. And I started doing angel magic, things like that. And then I started like learning more about Islam. I was studying Islam since I was like, I studied all the world religions since I was like 16, 17. A little bit when I was 15, but heavily when I was 16, 17. Really, the only thing I haven't learned too much about is Jainism. I'd like to learn more about that because I go to a Jain temple sometimes. But with that being said, I always kind of knew what Islam was, and I have a greater understanding of it now. I took my Shahada 2 years ago on Halloween, and I wasn't perfect, I screwed off a lot. Got into gambling addiction, which I'm slipped up a few times, but I haven't been perfect. Astaghfirullah, may Allah guide me, but I've been consistently like on the best path I can be for a month now. So subhanallah for that, but all my questions were answered when I came to Islam. Like my questions about, that's not even the tip of the iceberg, that's just summing up my story, but my questions were answered when I came to Islam. Like, I never understood the Trinity. Why would God kill his son to make up for the mistakes God did? Allah is perfect, Allah does not need to have another being because he already is one. He's Allah. He's beyond comprehension. He's perfect. He doesn't need to make another human being. Yes, Jesus is a human being. He's a prophet. Prophet Isa, peace be upon him. So when I learned that Jesus was a Muslim, that blew my mind, and it made sense at the same time, because why would God prostrate in the desert? Why would God go in the desert for 30 days and pray to God? That doesn't make sense. So he was obviously a Muslim. He prostrated. There's verses where he prostrated in the desert and prayed to God. He submitted to God. He was teaching us how to connect with God. So a lot of, in my early New Age, and because I got into New Age before I got into like black magic, left hand path, I was always experimenting, and part of it was escapism because I was bullied a lot as a kid, and I didn't know how to integrate my emotions. So I was a lucid dreamer. I still lucid dream sometimes, but I don't really intentionally do it anymore. The practices I do now have a purpose. I don't just do things because I'm bored or I want to fulfill a void within me, because Allah fills a void. Excuse me, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I lucid dreamed a lot, and it was fun, but a part of it was like, I felt like I wasn't really taking accountability for things in this physical world. I was trying to get answers from the spirit realm when I could get answers from God directly. But also, I needed to be taking care of things in the physical realm. I needed to be apologizing to people and taking accountability. And Islam has really helped me do that. But at the same time, I haven't let go of a lot of those beliefs because they have genuinely served a purpose. I don't regret any of that because it's helped me become who I am now. I used to struggle with anger so much, and when I started getting into angel magic and working with Santismo Morte, which I will make another video about that, I started letting go of anger. I'd meditate on these archetypes, and I'd come out of meditation and be, you know what, I need to take accountability. What I said to that person or how I handled that situation wasn't right. It helped me cool off, ground myself. So, a lot of times I'd come in thinking I'm in the right with this situation or this relationship, and I meditate, realize it's not who I am. I need to apologize, and meditation will change, Meditation will change you, but the way I meditate now is totally different because I pray Salah 5 times a day. That's what I really need to do. Everything else is just a bonus. You feel me? You know what I mean? So, when I call myself a witch, this is what I mean. Let me make this clear. I work with Allah alone. I only worship God alone. I worship Allah alone. There is no God. God, He is the only one. Now, I do believe in other beings, but I believe Allah is the supreme. You feel me? You know what I mean? Because they were in the Quran, but the prophets got these downloads from God that, learning about Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was really enlightening because, believe it or not, in those times, in that area, paganism was on the rise. And Christianity, whether you know it or not, is pagan because it's a trinity. There's 3. And so Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, I believe, if I'm wrong, correct me, but I believe the Kaaba was a big place for paganism, and they would have idols there. I don't know if I'm getting that information right or wrong. If I am getting it wrong, please correct me in the comments. But he was there to set the record straight.
This is a reminder.
Sorry. My roommate's alarm is going off. He has these Siri reminders, but he was there to set the record straight. He was there to... He was there to set the record straight and show people that there is one God. So he reclaimed monotheism. And I want to honor that and respect that. So I believe there is one God. I do believe there are other gods, but they're false gods like Moloch and Baal and all those pieces of crap that the elites worship. But I do work with archetypes, Jungian archetypes. And if you don't know what I mean by that, I work with other deities, but not in the sense as deities. So I'll give you an example. I work with Odin. I don't see Odin as I acknowledge him as like a real individual, but I don't work with him in that aspect. I work with Odin in a sense where I see him as a mythological figure. Yes, he may have been historical, but I see him in an atheistic and personalist perspective. You guys should look into atheistic witchcraft, for real, for real. I was watching this other Muslim individual named Drake Iconic Priestess, I think. She has an amazing YouTube channel. She works with dragons, and she helped me figure out my beliefs. I found out about her like a week ago, and I was binge watching her videos last week. But I work with Odin on a subconscious level. I work with Odin where I'm not worshiping him. I'm using him as a means, as a therapeutic means. I don't worship him. I see Odin within myself. You know, if I'm trying to work with my anger, because in the ancient times, Odin was invoked to get in trance states or euphoria, or, you know, to charge yourself up before a war. So I think of people that have control over their anger. So when I meditate on Odin, the imagery I see in all this stuff is like I'm using it to channel my own emotions. I see these as energies, emotions. I separate the divinity from them to impersonal. I don't see them as like real. I see that in the moment they're real, because magic only works if it's magic. But when I'm done with the practice, I pretend it's not real. I let it go, and that's the real magic, because that manifests faster. But I see them as fiction. I see them as something that has energy at the same time, because I'm putting energy into it. And I do separate it from Islam. But it's a way to have therapy, like I said. So I work with Santisima Morte too. Been a devotee for her, of that energy, for about a year now. I can make a story time about how I felt she called out to me. If you would like that, I can make a video on that. But I work with her in a sense where it's like I use her, well, work with her and honor that energy, the energy, to help me transition from things, to help me make peace with my ego, letting go, because she is holy death. So death is like closing off things. So I work with her to help me process things that I'm trying to close off, in a sense, you know, or make peace with things that are ending, seasons, cycles. You get what I'm saying? So it's all very beautiful, and everybody has different. Every Santisima Morte devotee is different. There's atheists that work with her. Although I do acknowledge its roots, I do acknowledge it as a folk Catholic practice, and I respect that. But yeah, that's kind of how I do it. I do work with crystals, and I don't worship crystals. I see them as something Allah created. It's a creation. It's a creation. It's a beautiful creation. But this is a video, guys. I love you all so much. This video is longer than I thought. I was just yapping, but I'm trying to make like 2 videos a day. So yes, I work with, and I want to make a point that I'm glad I did spiritual exploring, but a part of it is escapism, because if you're like working with like 10 different deities, right, you're gonna feel insane, man. Like, trust me, you know. Like these energies have helped me through a lot, but being able to regulate my nervous system and regulate energies from truth is how it helps me a lot, you know. I love you all. Peace, blessings, infinite nur be upon you. Lots of light.